But let's go ahead and let's get started with our mock draft. So look, the world knows, everybody knows, the number one pick is pretty obvious almost every year, unless the team itself just has other directions they really want to go in. But you know, I mean, it's the first round pick, even if it's a defender. The first round pick, the number one pick, is usually always defined before the draft even comes. Like, they don't even need a ticker. If you're going number one, I don't even know why you have a ticker. Just go. You know what I mean? That's why Mendoza was just like, nah, I'm not gonna go. He already knows where he's going. So why does he need to go to Pittsburgh to watch it get announced? That absolutely makes no sense. So sit at home, enjoy the show with your family. Exactly. It's about you. So why you can't be seen with your family doing that? You ain't got to be at the show. But Fernando Mendoza is going to go number one. Now, number two is a very fickle number. Because here's the thing. The draft this year is not showcasing a lot of quarterbacks. Not in the first round, right? But that's the thing. There is only going to be maybe one other quarterback, right? So you're telling me the top two quarterbacks this year could possibly be separated by 16 picks because the Jets could possibly draft an edge rusher first and wait for their quarterback. Now, it's not, for me, it's not ideal, but when you really look at it, right? The only other person that needs a quarterback is Arizona. Tennessee has their quarterback, right? New York has their quarterback. Just got their quarterback last year. Cleveland's got two of them running around. Washington has their quarterback. New Orleans is probably the only team I see sneaking in and taking Ty Simpson if they don't trust the quarterback they have now. But there have been no talks about New Orleans actually going for a quarterback, so that might not be an issue. Miami at 11, but they got their chips in the basket with Malik Willis. So, to be honest with you, the New York Jets actually might be able to get away. Now, here's what they'll do. They're going to get away with drafting the edge rusher first, all right? But what they should do is not wait until 16. What they need to do is probably take the Saints spot at number 8. Okay? Maybe even Cleveland spot at number 6. Cleveland looking for an offensive tackle. You could possibly take the Cleveland spot at number 6, probably just swap first rounds, to be quite honest with you. That way, you're going to get Ty Simpson a little bit earlier than pick 16. Like, I don't think they should be waiting that long for that pick. That'll be a little bit egregious. Hey, how are you? How are you? I don't know. You speaking English. No, you're not. Okay, so that is not. Where did you come from? I don't know who that is. Anyway, so I don't think they're going to wait that long if they plan on getting a quarterback in the first round, okay, which they desperately need. Like, you cannot. The edge rushing is very important for them, but who back there do they have at quarterback? Absolutely no one. Now, if they can get the edge rush in the second round, they absolutely should finesse getting a earlier first round pick and move it up if they possibly can. If they got to wait to 16, I mean, it could possibly wait. It could possibly work, but I don't know. Miami is another team that actually does need a quarterback, and I don't believe they're going to put all their eggs in the basket on Malik Willis. If there's a quarterback still available. At number 3, we have the Arizona Cardinals. They need a quarterback as well. But there have not been much quarterback talks outside of these two. Now, Arizona, they may go ahead and build everything else on their team before going to get a quarterback. Unfortunately, it's a little needed because they kind of got handicapped messing around with paying all that money. What is his name? He went to Minnesota. Oh, that's gonna be a funny. What is it called? Training camp. Kyler Murray. So they're gonna they are. I do think Carolina. I do think the Arizona Cardinals are actually going to go ahead and go for a full out blown reset. They need defense. They need offense. They need line protection. They need penetration. Their running backs getting hurt, so they need a lot. So this could be their just year to just say, we're not in any competition right now. We're gonna just call it and build again and move forward from there. And it's honestly the right time because here's the thing. The quarterback class next year is going to be a lot better than this year's. So why not build everything else, see where that puts you, put yourself in a position to get you a quarterback next year. So if they want to go for the edge rusher, I'm okay with the Carolina. I'm okay with Arizona drafting an edge rusher. Tennessee, they do need defense. They absolutely do. So going after a linebacker, I think is good. I do think they need a little bit of safety help as well. But we'll see because it looks like they converted somebody. But I do think they need a little bit more than linebacker. They need penetration, but they also need deep protection. They need safety help. So they may go linebacker, but they can also go safety. Unless this guy can play the wheel, that actually does help them because then he can play low flat safety. So I'm okay with Tennessee going defense here at this position. Linebacker is okay as well. New York, they have New York slated for Jeremiah Love. If I'm New York, if I'm the Giants, I'm going to take it. I know there's a lot of noise back there. Cam Scatterbo. Okay, well, Cam Scatterbo got hurt. Right? He was a rookie. And he got hurt. So you want this franchise to look at that situation and say, I know what happened, but you'll be no. They're not. I've never met a franchise that's ever done that. Their running back got hurt. They're going after another one. They're going to make sure they have a complimentary running back situation so that way they can move forward in the season. Okay, they got a lot of really good pieces and they got a really great coach. So right now, what they're going to do is make sure this team is built to last. That's what the Giants are going to do. So I'm okay with the Giants going after a running back in this round. They do need line protection, but they'll get some more offensive linemen. What they really need to do is get the ball in the quarterback's hands more and off of his legs. That's what they need. They let him run a little bit too much. All right, so Cleveland. This is another team that has 2 picks in the first round. And they're going after an offensive tackle. Now, Cleveland is a team that is a very interesting team in this position. They could again trade out from this pick for one, the Jets who need a quarterback. If I'm the Jets, I'm picking the edge rusher at 2. I am swapping first rounders, and I'm also giving you a little something else to get that first round so I can get the quarterback for my future. This would probably be the only move early that we see move around. I think the other one will be the Cowboys, but that'll be a little bit later. But right now, this would be a move. The Cleveland Browns need an offensive lineman, but they don't need the offensive lineman at the number 6 pick. Let's be honest. So hopefully we see a trade with the Jets and Cleveland for that first round slot where the Jets can get their quarterback. Washington at number 7. Now, they're another interesting pick at number 7. Let me see something real quick. Carson Beck, Garrett Newsomere, Taylor Green. So those are the next 3 quarterbacks behind Mendoza and Ty Simpson. All right, so let's see here. Where were we? Oh, no, my computer's freezing up. Really? Oh, come on. All right. No. All right. So, that's right. Because I got it over here. Anyway, so where were we? So we have the Commanders at number 7. And again, another interesting team who could trade out or who could go ahead and stay at their position and make their pick. I would like for the Commanders to get a edge rusher or running back. Yeah, they need running. They need running help tremendously. So I would give for edge rusher or running back. They do need a wide receiver too. Their offense has kind of taken a hit. You know what? I would say get some receiver help first. They probably won't get a running back to the 3rd round, but I would go ahead and get the first receiver off the board, if not the second receiver. Only reason why I say was second receiver off the board, if the Browns stay where they are and pick a receiver. I mean, the Titans could do the same thing because they could get Cam Ward some help at the 4th pick. But again, they do also need protection for Cam Ward as well. So the Commanders, I think they should stay with wide receiver with their first pick. Let's see. Saints at number 8. Saints would need some wide receiver help. They could get another wide receiver. They could possibly get another running back as well. They definitely need defense. I would get a defensive tackle for the Saints before I would get an edge rusher. If they don't get a receiver in the 1st round, hopefully they get a defensive tackle in the 1st round, somebody that protects the middle. That can attack the middle. They do need more penetration on their defense. And I think if they go defensive in the draft, they can get an edge rusher in the 2nd round and be fine with that. Chiefs at number 9 is interesting. So they don't have their quarterback, who could be coming back sometime for the best holiday return in the world, right? But they need everything. They need receivers. They need all linemen. They need defense. So the Chiefs have interesting collateral here, because with their pick at number 9, right, they could trade out. And they can get more picks on the back end to get this. They have great coaching staff. They are a team that doesn't feed off having to have a number 1 pick really do anything for them. That number 1 pick at the number 9 spot, that could turn into possibly 3 more picks for them in the draft, possibly 2 in the 2nd, or even one in the extra 1 in the 2nd, and then another 1 in the 3rd and another 1 in the 4th. Okay, those are substantial picks in the draft for a team that is still playoff ready. Okay, they're just missing their quarterback. So as long as they can build this team and sustain it enough for when Patrick Mahomes returns, the Chiefs are back in the playoffs again. Just saying. All right. Now, the Giants at the number 10 pick. The receivers coming back. Scatterbo's coming back. They're possibly going to get a running back out this draft. They did just trade a defensive tackle, which the Bengals desperately needed, because, boy, we all know what that defense looks like. But the Giants at the number 10, that's either a really big move for the Giants or a really big move for whoever trades into that 10 spot and trades out. The Giants at number 10. Okay, so the Giants at number 10. That is an interesting spot, like I said, because the Giants could potentially trade out of that spot at number 10. Or, again, they could have another. So they're going to pick a running back at number 5. And that's if they don't trade out of number 5 with the Jets, because the Jets could trade out from the Giants, or the Jets could trade out from the Cleveland Browns at 5 or 6. The smart decision would be if they're going to get an edge rusher at the 2, they need to trade back in at the 5 or 6 for their quarterback. And if the Giants do not trade out, they'll grab their running back at 5, and then they have the next spot at 10. This is a very interesting position. For them, it'd be great if they keep it. I mean, have the number 5 and the number 10 pick is probably one of the best positions you could be in. Not for the Jets at 2 and 16. That's just too far away. So if I am the Giants here, right? If I'm giving up this pick here, I'm definitely grabbing 2 second-round picks and a third for this first-round pick at number 10. Who could jump in? Maybe the Rams. Or maybe one of these back-end teams like the Bears, the Bills, the Texans, one of these teams that, one of these last 10 place teams. So they could, or even the Dolphins. The Dolphins do need to take one of these 11th or 30th picks, and they do need to move up, which moving up to 10 ain't going to do nothing for them. If they can move that 30 pick up, that would help because then they could go 11 and 12, which would actually be really good for the Dolphins. That'd be a really smart move for them. But the Giants at number 10, if they stay, they're going. I would go defensive lineman because again, they did trade their defensive lineman to the Cincinnati Bengals. So grabbing a defensive lineman here would be, and it's going to be a defensive draft. This is going to be one defensive draft. You're going to see a lot of edge and D linemen go in the first round. It's a defensive line heavy draft. At number 11 for the Dolphins, they're going with Malik Willis. I don't see how that's any much more better than Tua. You're in a division with Drake May. You're in a division with Josh Allen. Okay. You're about to be in the division, quite possibly, maybe, with Ty Simpson. Okay. You really want to go with Malik Willis? And Devon Etchen is what you're building around, right? That's the quarterback you're giving him. There's already talks about Denver wanting Achane, by the way. So that is also up in the air. Also, let's pay attention. 6 teams, okay? 6 teams have 2 first-round picks, right? A lot of teams don't have one, could actually find their way in the draft, right? There's collateral out there. So we have to look at these 6 teams that have 2 picks, and we have to understand that they might not use both of those picks. Teams that may not have a first-round pick at all might find their way into the draft, okay, with one of these teams got 2 picks. So we gotta look at that, all right? But we're going to talk a little bit more about that when we talk about those picks. All right, so let's keep moving with our mock, somewhat of a mock. All right, so Cowboys at number 12. Or no, the Dolphins at number 11. Let's see, what about if you're gonna go with Malik Willis, then you gotta get a wide receiver because you don't have one. So Dolphins could get possibly the best wide receiver out of the draft or the second best, depending on if Tennessee gets a wide receiver or if Tennessee or the Commanders. Tennessee or the Commanders. Saints need one too. So we could see 3 or 4 receivers actually go in the first round as well. All right, Cowboys at number 12. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I know we would want the Cowboys to make the best move they could possibly make when it comes to the draft because they always make dumb moves. But I have to say, with the state of where this draft is going, right? They don't need a quarterback. They don't need any wide receivers. They don't need a running back. The Dallas Cowboys need a lot of defense. If I'm the Dallas Cowboys, I might give up both of my first round picks. I know that sounds stupid, right? But I might give up both of my first round picks and put them all in the second round. I'm dead serious. I'd probably put them all in the second. I would give up all of them picks. You're at 12 and I think 26. What are you going to do with those? Yeah, at 12, you're going to get the best defensive player off the board. One of the best defensive players off the board, right? What does that do for you with the 26th pick? He's probably still going to end up trading out of that pick because there's nothing you can really do with it. Unless something financially beautiful falls in your lap, there's really nothing you're going to do with it. But in the second round, the Cowboys can literally own the draft because they most likely already have picks. Let's go look. See how many times we see the Cowboys in the second round. Cowboys have no second round picks, so that's not going to be a good idea. Never mind. Never mind. Cowboys going to end up staying right where they are because the Cowboys don't have a pick again until 28, and that's in the third round. That's ugly. Let me double check the second round again. Nope, I take back what I said. Don't do nothing. Stay right there, Cowboys. Stay right where you at. Don't you make no dumb moves. Stay right there in the first round. Make both of them picks. So the Cowboys in the first round they'll take an edge rusher. They're gonna take an edge rusher. 13. Actually, if I'm a Cowboy, I'm gonna take a linebacker with this. I'm either gonna take a linebacker or a corner. If a corner hasn't come off the board, I'm probably going to take a linebacker. They get beat in the air very easily. So I'm taking either a linebacker or a corner in this position. With 26, you might be able to get that edge rusher. Or even if you do it the other side, get the edge rusher with the 12th, and then later in the draft, get a corner. I think either way works for them. As long as they go defense in this draft, they're going to be fine. Rams at 13. So I'm going to go wide receiver with this pick if I'm the Rams because you're having problems with Puka Nacua. I'm not laughing at the situation. I'm just laughing at the fact that it's an issue that's literally having to make you make choices in the draft. Those issues really, 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 really suck. I'm so sorry. But because of that, and then you got Devontae Adams dealing with I think he had a second grade hamstring, so he will not possibly be flying down the field anymore. He's going to be a great red zone target, though. So if I'm the Rams, I'm probably going to go with a wide receiver. Less too many of the good ones go, then you can switch and either trade out of this draft, of this first round, or go offensive lineman because you also need all the O-line protection as well. So I can go either or. Ravens at the 14th pick. Okay, so we have a new coaching regime. All right, we still got Derrick Henry. You still have Lamar Jackson. Mark Andrews is still there, which sucks because he's getting old and he just takes up a lot of collateral on the field that everybody else could have. The Ravens need defense. More so in the middle of the field, right? So but they also need to penetrate. They have no penetration on the outside when it comes to edge rushing. If I'm the Ravens, I'm most likely to go receiver. I'm gonna they have no penetration on the defensive line, like none. They can go either defensive tackle or defensive edge. But from the Ravens, I'm either going. I'm gonna go with an edge rusher or a defensive tackle. A receiver can be done. We can get that in the second round, possibly even in the third round. But they need defensive help really, really bad. So I'm going to go. They could possibly even use a linebacker, but I'm going to go with possibly them drafting an edge or defensive lineman. Buccaneers at the 15th pick. The Buccaneers need defense, but most importantly, they need to get rid of Todd Bowles. That's what they really need. Ain't nothing wrong with the team. Everything is wrong with the leadership of the team. He is hot, trash, garbage, and I don't know how he keep fooling people that he knows how to coach. I don't understand. He fools people all the time. Baker Mayfield put the team on his back, but he gets to smile and answer all the questions. But when they lose, he's sitting there with that dumb look on his face, but Baker answering the question. Come on, bro. Let me see if my background thing is working now because it's kind of low-key annoying me. No, it's not. Oh, it's annoying. Anyway, so the Buccaneers here could use a lot of defense. They could use linebackers. I think they'll go to linebacker in this position. A lot of edge rushers are most likely going to be gone before Buccaneers pick. So if I'm the Bucs, it's probably going to be getting a linebacker or a cornerback out of the draft, something with middle to outside help. Jets at 16. Well, if they don't move up in the draft to grab the quarterback that they need to grab, well, obviously at 16, they would grab that quarterback here. Now, if it's the Browns at 16, if the Browns are the ones that trade with the Jets, the Browns at 16 will grab, an offensive lineman. They do need protection, so they'll give an offensive lineman. They already got their running back. They've got a couple of wide receivers, and they have a tight end. So they'll grab either, if not deep, the Browns have a good defense, so they're most likely to go ahead and get offensive linemen. That's what I'm saying. The Browns don't need to keep the 6th pick if the Jets can move in on that. Okay. And again, if it's the Giants at the number 5 who move out, I would say the Giants would still get a defensive tackle at the 16th position. So I have a feeling that the 16th position is going to be either, luckily, a quarterback or some form of a defensive player at the 16th pick, depending on if it's the Jets, the Giants, or the Browns. All right. At 17, the Lions. So the Lions here, they traded away David Montgomery, so they're riding with Gibbs. They have a receiving core. I would say offensive linemen, quite possibly. Maybe even adding some more depth to the defense. Linebackers, definitely. Not a lot, it's not a lot of linebackers that are going to go. So in the sense that there could be there's going to be a lot of edge rushers that are going to go. So linebackers that do go, they're going to be impactful for their teams. Absolutely. Because they're going to be the best linebackers that we have in the draft that go to teams that need them. So again, the Lions could possibly get a linebacker out of this draft at the number 17 pick, which would be absolutely beautiful at that pick. I really do think so. Because again, they're not needed anywhere else in the draft outside of maybe a couple of other teams. But those teams could use a defensive tackle most likely and an edge rusher as well. The Vikings at the number 18th pick, they need offensive line help. Not sure if they need a receiver so early, but they could use a defensive lineman as well. So it's going to be a defensive draft, guys. We're going to see a lot of defender players go. Panthers at the 19th pick, give me an offensive line. Yeah, they do need an offensive line, possibly another left tackle or an interior lineman, but they definitely do need safety help as well. Cowboys at the 20th pick. This is an interesting pick. This is the last of the, this is like the last 12 picks in the draft. They could stay and grab another defender. Now, that would mean the Cowboys, because again, they need a linebacker and they need an edge rusher. So again, it could be either or with the 10th or the 20th pick of which one they get. And honestly, with the way this draft is looking, they would get whatever they want, to be honest. If they stick to defense, if the Cowboys stick to defense and stay at 10 and 20. Okay. They're not the best picks, but 10 would be top 10 pick, right? But the 20th pick, honestly, with the rate the draft is going, you have a pick of the litter between corner, linebacker, edge, and defensive lineman. This draft is littered with them. Okay, so Cowboys, or again, the Cowboys may end up trading out and get an early pick in the second round. Okay, there are teams that don't have a pick this round in the first round. Cincinnati don't have one. They could look with the move Cincinnati's trying to make for Burrow this year. Cincinnati could slip in the draft. Okay. Let me double check, make sure. Because if they would have had a pick, it would have been with the way their season went. They would have had a pick already. So yeah, Cincinnati could slip into the draft. So we got to make sure we pay close attention to stuff like that. All right, we have the Steelers. Steelers at 21. They do need a quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is not your future. Steelers at 21 is interesting. Again, new head coach. I wanted to say they had a top wide receiver, but I'm not putting that kind of grace on DK Metcalf. They basically need to rebuild. It'll be interesting to see what the Steelers do. Do they even stay in the first round with what they have? They do need a wide receiver. They do need offensive linemen. They do need a quarterback. They do need a tight end. They do need linebackers. I would say the Steelers are going to go quarterback. They might shock the world and go quarterback because they might get what's his name? They could get Carson Beck, Garrett Newsomer, okay, or Taylor Green. Taylor Green, 6'5", 227. He's a long-range dual threat. And honestly, with the players that they have in Pittsburgh, this is the type of quarterback that would technically be needed. So we'll see what the Steelers do with that 21st pick. But it's an interesting pick because they need a lot. And that pick is not going to do much unless that player is a standout player at the 21st pick. But they're technically on the verge of rebuilding anyway. So they could stay basic and go offensive lineman and get protection for Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean? At 22, the Chargers. From the Chargers, I need a wide receiver. Nah, they just got a wide receiver last year. They need offensive lineman protection. And they need some edge rushing. So Chargers could stay at 22 and get an offensive lineman or corner. Or they can come out of the draft in the first round and let somebody else take that 22nd spot who does not have a pick, and they could possibly go into the second round and probably load up there. Eagles at 23 is interesting. Not that many wide receivers are going. A.J. Brown is potentially being traded to the Patriots. Most likely here is the Eagles are going to go for a wide receiver. If the top 5 receivers are still in the draft in the first round, right, which most likely they will be, the Eagles are going to draft the wide receiver with the 23rd pick. Browns at 24. If I'm the Browns, I'm going to keep both of my picks in the first round. Okay. And if not, for this second round, for this pick here, I'm probably going to hopefully try to get 3 picks, 2 second round and a third round, or 1 second round and 2 third rounds. They need offensive linemen, and they need another receiver. They need to give Shadir another weapon. Bears at number 25 is interesting. They need safety help, and they need defensive line help. But more so, They don't need. I don't think they need a lineman. I don't think they need. I mean, anybody can use offensive lineman, but I think with the 25th pick from the Bears, I might not stay here. Collateral is what I need, so I might use this pick to get more picks later in the draft. So Bears might be another team that do not stay. We'll talk about that later as well when we talk about the last 10 teams in the draft. Bills at number 24 could trade out in the second round, or they can stay where they are and they need a receiver. I don't know why they got edge on O-line. I don't know why they got all these other positions before them. They need receivers. They don't have no weapons. They have no offensive weapons. Okay? So if you want this man to go to the Super Bowl, get him some weapons. Okay? Put it on them. Because right now it's all on him. With the weapons he got, we can't blame them. We can only blame him. So if you want to blame somebody else, put somebody else out there to make him look better. I don't know. I'm trying to find excuses for this guy. He's not going to Super Bowl. 49ers. Now, let's see. If I'm the 49ers here, I need protection for Purdy. So I'm probably going to go with offensive lineman here at the 27th pick. Texans at the 28th pick. Same thing. I need protection. So I'm going to go with offensive lineman as well. And I probably can go with the edge. But I think the Texans are fine defensively. They know how to draft defensive players in late rounds. So I'm fine with the way if they go with the route of offensive lineman in the beginning. They do need a receiver, unless they made moves in the offseason that I missed. They do need receivers, and I don't understand why none of them are on the list. Like, I don't know why it's like not showing up that the Texans need. They definitely had no receivers last year, but one. So they definitely need to get some receivers on their team. I don't think they're going to draft one in the first round, though, at the 20th pick. So that's not a need, I guess, in the 20th. Maybe that's why they didn't have it there, but they definitely need receivers. Chiefs need weapons as well. They need a receiver, but they also need an offensive lineman at the 29th pick. So I think the Chiefs might trade out and just put more picks on the back end. Dolphins at number 30, they also might trade out, but they may stay at number 30 and just draft a wide receiver. Patriots at number 31 are most likely going to trade that pick away. Whenever the Patriots are the bottom 3 picks in the draft, they don't usually keep it. So they could possibly trade that one out and get an edge rusher in the second round. And the Seahawks most likely will draft a running back with the last pick. Which is going to be very faulty for them. I don't know any running back that's been the 32nd pick that's ever been a good running back. But the Seahawks could possibly draft a running back with that 32nd pick.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.